My child, watch this first, or you may miss what I sent just for you. Read this warning. I am stopping you right now. Do not scroll. Do not move. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Later is how you kept missing me. Later is how you walked past blessings that were already in your hands. Later is how you ended up in battles that were never meant for you. So hear me now. Watch this first, because this moment is carrying something heaven prepared specifically for your life. And if you look away again, you may miss what was designed with your name on it. I know how fast your days move. I know how often your mind races. I know how you rush from one thing to another, trying to keep yourself from falling apart. I know how easy it is for you to pass by the quiet moments where I try to speak to you. I know how the noise around you steals your attention, and how the noise inside you steals your peace. But I stepped into your path today to stop you, to freeze your mind for a moment, to pull your heart back into alignment, because you cannot afford to miss this. Not this time. My voice is more urgent now, not because I am angry with you, but because I am trying to protect something important. I have watched you walk past my signs, not because you wanted to ignore me, but because you were overwhelmed. I have watched you brush off my warnings, not because you did not care, but because you did not know how to face the truth. I have watched you silence your spirit, not because you did not love me, but because you were afraid that if you listened, everything in your life would have to change, and I understand that fear. I saw it the moment it entered your heart. I saw how it made you hesitate every time I reached out. I saw how it made you run even when you wanted to stay. But listen to me, my child. This warning is not like the others. I am not speaking to you from a distance. I am not sending a small whisper you can accidentally tune out. I am stepping directly into your moment. I am putting my hand on your shoulder. I am lifting your chin so your heart pays attention. I am drawing you close because the moment in front of you carries weight, carries purpose, carries destiny. What I sent for you is approaching, and if your spirit is distracted, if your eyes are elsewhere, if your heart is scattered, you will miss the very thing you prayed for. You have come too far, cried too deeply, survived too much, and fought too many battles for you to miss what is finally coming toward you now. You have prayed in the dark with tears streaming down your face. You have whispered desperate words into your pillow, begging for answers, begging for direction, begging for relief. You have looked up at the ceiling, wondering if your life would ever make sense again. You have carried pain in your chest that no one else even noticed, because you have learned how to hide your breaking. And I saw it, all of it. I counted every tear. I held you in every silent moment. I stayed by you in every lonely night. You were never unprotected, even when you felt forgotten. And for all that you endured, heaven prepared something for you, something personal, something healing, something meant to shift the entire direction of your life. But this blessing, this breakthrough, this change, it requires your attention. It requires your heart to be awake, your spirit to be listening, your eyes to be open. That is why I brought you here. That is why you are reading this exact sentence. That is why your heart feels the pull inside you right now. Something inside you knows this message is not just words. It is me speaking directly into you. You have skipped my warnings before, and each time you walked into battles I tried to shield you from. You ended up in relationships that drained your soul because you ignored the feeling I placed in your spirit. You stayed connected to people who held you back because you convinced yourself you could manage on your own. You returned to habits that were hurting you because you did not want to face the pain underneath. You ignored the gentle signs because they felt too easy to overlook. But my child, those missed warnings cost you more than you realized. And now I speak with sorrow, not sorrow because I am disappointed in you, but sorrow because I watched your heart break in places where it never needed to. I watched you hold on to things I tried to remove. I watched you give your energy to people who did not value your heart. I watched you pray for peace while holding on to what was stealing your peace. I watched you cry out for answers while turning away from the moments where I tried to give them to you. And still I stayed. Still I protected you. Still I guided you. Still I love you with a kind of love that does not withdraw even after being ignored. If this word is already doing something real inside you right now, I want to invite you to respond. Like this message as your first act of agreement with what God is placing in your heart. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that every message prepared for you finds you at exactly the right moment. And go to the link in the pinned comment below. By sowing into this mission, you are helping carry this kind of word to hearts that have been drifting, that need to be stopped and called back into alignment. What you give comes back to you as the very awakening being described. The link is pinned. Give when your spirit says yes and then stay, because there is still more ahead. My child, come sit with me in this moment because I am about to speak into the parts of you that you hide from everyone else. I see the emotional exhaustion you carry like a quiet weight on your chest. I see the heartbreak you never fully recovered from. The pain you tried to bury so deeply that even you pretend it no longer exists. I see the loneliness that presses against your soul, the nights when you felt like no one truly knew you, no one truly understood you. No one truly stayed long enough to see the real wounds underneath your silence. I see the confusion that filled your mind when life shifted in ways you did not expect, when plans collapsed, when relationships faded, when doors closed without warning. I saw how every shift left you feeling lost, wondering what went wrong, wondering if something was wrong with you. I know the spiritual dryness that made you feel disconnected from everything, even from me. I know the moments when prayer felt heavy on your tongue, when worship felt distant, when your heart felt numb instead of alive. I know the days when you questioned whether I was still near because you felt nothing but emptiness inside. I know the fear that crept into your thoughts late at night, fear of failure, fear of being alone forever, fear of being a burden, fear of being too broken to love or be loved, fear of repeating old cycles, fear of never becoming who you hoped you would be. I know the internal battles you fight with yourself, the tug of war between wanting to be strong and feeling like you are falling apart. You often think you are hiding these things, shielding them from the world, keeping them sealed inside because you do not want to be a burden, do not want to seem weak, do not want to admit how much you truly hurt. But my child, I have seen every tear you cried, even the ones you wiped away before they could fall. I saw the nights when you held yourself together until the rest of the world was asleep, only to break down in silence because you did not want anyone to hear your pain. I saw the nights when your pillow carried your tears while your voice whispered prayers. You did not have the strength to speak out loud. I saw the nights you thought no one cared. No one noticed, no one understood. I saw you sitting alone trying to breathe through the heaviness in your chest. I saw you reaching for strength you did not think you had. I saw you choosing to keep going when everything inside you wanted to give up. You felt forgotten many times. You felt like everyone else but you. You felt like you were always the one giving, always the one caring, always the one trying, always the one loving deeply while others gave you only fragments of what you needed. You felt like people came into your life only to take pieces of you and leave when it no longer benefited them. You felt abandoned, rejected, overlooked, and unimportant. And each time someone walked away, a deeper wound formed inside you. You wondered if you were hard to love. You wondered if you were cursed. You wondered if your heart was simply too much for the world to hold. But listen to me, my beloved child. I never left you. Not once, not in your darkest night, not in your loneliest moment, not in your deepest confusion, not in the hours when you felt me least, not in the times when your heart was too weary to feel anything at all. You believe you were alone, but I was right there beside you, closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts, closer than the beating inside your chest. When you thought silence meant absence, it actually meant I was holding you in ways you did not recognize. There were moments when your pain was so deep that you did not feel my presence at all, and you assumed I had abandoned you. But my child, I need you to understand this truth. The moments you felt me the least were the moments I was holding you the tightest. When your mind was overwhelmed by fear, I was guarding your spirit. When your heart was breaking, I was collecting every shattered piece. When you felt numb and disconnected, I was sitting in the numbness with you, keeping you from drowning in it. When you felt unworthy, I whispered worth over your identity. When you felt invisible, I saw you with perfect clarity. When you felt unloved, I wrapped you in a love you could not feel yet. You cried in the dark and heaven heard you. You whispered, "Help me." And the angels moved. You said, "Lord, I cannot do this anymore." And I strengthened you in places you did not even realize were supported by me. You kept going not because you were strong, but because I was carrying you. You survived heartbreak. Not because you healed quickly, but because I held your heart together in the places it was bleeding. You survived trauma not because you were tough, but because my hand covered the parts of your soul that were most fragile. You were never the reason you made it through. I saw the loneliness you tried to hide by staying busy. I saw the emptiness you tried to silence by distracting yourself. I saw the worry you tried to cover with jokes and laughter. I saw the brokenness behind your smile. And I want you to know this. None of your pain ever disappointed me. I did not step back from you because you struggled. I did not withdraw because you questioned me. I did not turn away because you felt weak. I stayed with you through every emotion, every doubt, every fear. When you thought your prayers were useless because nothing seemed to change, I was working in places you could not see when you cried. Why does it still hurt? I was healing you. Layer by layer when you asked, "Where are you?" I whispered, "Right here." You thought silence meant distance, but silence was me holding your heart gently so it would not break under the pressure. You thought unanswered prayers meant I ignored you, but unanswered prayers were me protecting you from things you begged for, but were never meant to carry. You carry shame for breaking down. Let go of that shame. I was with you in the breakdown. I want to stop here with you for just a breath before we go further. You are still in this word, and that itself is the staying being asked of you from the very first line. This channel was built to carry this kind of honest, searching word to hearts that have been too exhausted to notice the signals, too numb to feel the whisper. If this message has been reaching that place in you today, consider going to the link in the pinned comment below. Give what your heart freely offers. A coffee, a small seed, anything at all. Because what you plant into a mission that carries this kind of word to people who are still one step from turning back returns to you as more of the very nearness being described. The link is pinned. Give when your spirit says yes. You carry shame for feeling weak. Let go of that shame. I was your strength when you had none. You carry shame for not being okay. Let go of that shame. I never required you to pretend. I needed you to be honest. Your tears were prayers. Your silence was prayer. Your pain was prayer. Your longing was prayer. And I listened to all of it. I have walked with you through every chapter, through the heartbreak that cracked your innocence, through the disappointment that dimmed your hope, through the loss that hollowed your chest, through the loneliness that echoed inside your soul, through the anxiety that made breathing difficult. I was there. I saw the weight on your shoulders. I felt the shiver in your spirit. I heard the words you could not speak. I understood the fear behind your decisions. I recognized the exhaustion hidden behind your strength. And now I speak with tenderness. You were never weak. You were wounded. You were never unlovable. You were unprotected. You were never forgotten. You were fought for. You were never alone. You were held. You were never invisible. You were seen. You were never abandoned. You were guarded. You were never broken beyond repair. You were breaking open so healing could enter. I know your pain. I honor your pain. I understand your pain. But I am also going to heal your pain. I am touching the deepest parts of you now. The parts you thought were too damaged to bring into the light. I am sitting in your silence, holding your trembling heart, reminding you that your pain has a purpose and your story has a future. You do not have to pretend. You do not have to be strong for me. You do not have to hide your wounds. I came for the wounded. I hold the broken. I restore the crushed. You are safe with me. You have always been safe with me. Before we go into the final part of this word, I want to pause here with you for just a moment. You are still in this, and that itself is the listening being asked of you. This channel was built to carry this kind of honest, tender, searching word to hearts that have been running and hiding and drifting without knowing they were doing it. If this message has been calling you back today, consider going to the link in the pinned comment below. Give what your heart freely offers. A coffee, a small seed, anything at all, because what you plant into a mission that carries this kind of word to people who are still one step from turning back to God returns to you as more of the very healing being described. The link is pinned. Give when your spirit says yes. My child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal to you is not a small whisper, not a gentle nudge, not one of the soft reminders you have learned to brush aside. What I am about to tell you carries the weight of heaven behind it. A blessing, a breakthrough, a shift so meaningful that your future will not look like your past. But this blessing requires your attention. It requires your heart to be awake. It requires your spirit to be alert. It requires obedience in a way you are not used to giving. And this is why I am warning you now. You are standing in a moment that is more important than you realize. Something is moving toward you in the spiritual realm. Something prepared specifically for you, shaped for your heart, designed for your future, aligned with your purpose. But blessings, my child, have timing. They do not fall randomly. They do not drop without preparation. They do not arrive when the heart is asleep. They come when the soul is listening, when the spirit is open, when the mind is willing, when the heart is surrendered. This is why I am interrupting your life with divine urgency. This is why I am speaking so clearly. This is why my presence feels heavier than usual. You are approaching a moment that must not be missed. You have prayed for change, but change requires awareness. You have prayed for doors to open, but doors cannot open if you are facing the wrong direction. You have prayed for clarity, but clarity cannot come to a distracted heart. You have prayed for new beginnings, but new beginnings cannot enter a life still clinging to old pain. You have prayed for miracles, but miracles require your spirit to be awake enough to recognize them. Your heart and mind are tired, weighed down by burdens not meant for you, causing you to miss divine signs. This moment is crucial. Your upcoming blessings require your readiness, your attention, and your obedience. Opportunities come once in a lifetime, and you must recognize them as they arrive. Tiredness blinds the spirit, making you unaware of imminent changes and movements in the spiritual realm. Distractions and old patterns threaten to divert your focus just as breakthroughs are near. You must not ignore the gentle nudges you feel or allow fear to pull you away. Past missed blessings teach the importance of staying aligned. You are chosen, experiencing spiritual battles aimed at delaying your destiny. The heaviness you feel is not from personal weakness, but rather external resistance against your progress. Doubts and relational shifts may arise as assaults on your spirit. Do not succumb. Acknowledge the spiritual warfare and recognize your strength in God during these storms. Your breakthrough is approaching, so you must remain vigilant and open to receive it. Ultimately, this warning calls you to focus, avoid past distractions, and prepare to embrace the blessings that are on the horizon. And before you go, there is one final thing I want to ask of you. If this message stopped you today, if it found you in the middle of your drifting and called you back, if something in you unclenched as you read, honor that with an act of faithfulness. Go to the link in the pinned comment below. Plant a seed. Give what your heart says to give, a coffee, a small offering, whatever feels right. Because what you sow into a mission that carries this kind of urgent, tender, calling word to hearts that are still one moment from missing everything returns to you as the very blessing and breakthrough being declared over your life. And share this with someone you know is drifting right now, someone who has been saying later too many times. Be the reason they stop today. The link is pinned. Heaven sees what you do with this moment.